YouTube channel. Back again here. This week, we have a drag racer and race promoter from Grand Prairie, Alberta, owner of T&T Motorsports, TR sales consultant, and is the Pro One Safety Canada dealer for Western Canada. Travis Ringguth, got her there. Travis put on his first event in 2020 and just launched his new T&T Motorsports website. He's also the 2011 NHRA Super Street Division champion and was 2014 IHRA Hot Rod and Quick Rod Division champion. Him and his father, both scoring double championships that year. So that's pretty cool. Welcome to the show, bud.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So first of all, kind of for everybody on this side of, of the country, this side of Canada that, between the Great Divide with us, tell us, all a little bit about yourself, how you got into drag racing and what you do kind of all summer, how you spend your summers.
I got into, I'm Travis Ringguth, as Brandon said. I got into drag racing. My dad was always kind of a fan, car guy growing up. And he kind of was busy working and stuff like that. So when I was 14, he had an 81 Camaro that had been in our family for probably 20, 25 years. And he'd done a little bit here, a little bit there. And then finally we drug it up and into our shop at the place I grew up in and grabbed a rule book and said, okay, we're going to go try bracket racing, right? So we put it together kind of based off of an IHRA rule book because Edmonton which was our closest big track. They were IHRA at the time. So set it up and got it running no box. And yeah, that was kind of the start of something that's turned into the past, I'd say, I think 16 or 17 years now of every summer, just, starting in the spring and everything leading up to the spring and then racing hard for like 10, 15 weekends out of the year. And spent a lot of time racing down in the States when we were doing that divisional stuff and actually was blessed enough to go down to Texas and do some national events down there and stuff like that. So my summers now, they look like, working, as little as possible and mostly over the phone and always on our way to a racetrack somewhere, which I'm sure you can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, kind of as we talked about just before this, right? This isn't just, hop in the truck Friday after work, and bomb down to the racetrack, right? You guys got to drive to get anywhere, right?
Yeah, for sure. So if we get out late on a Friday, that means we're getting at the track like midnight, something like that. So we've got a motorhome now and sometimes we'll have to pull over halfway there and sleep and stuff like that. But yeah, our closest tow is 5.5, 6 hours, like we were talking.
Yeah. No, it's quite the trip and commitment, right? For every weekend now, right? Not just a few select ones where you get to go for the long hauls, but, you're kind of in the middle of nothing right now, I guess, right? But so I guess we'll go into, the T&T Motorsports stuff. So that's more you and your dad, right? Kind of working on some different ideas and race cars and, so tell us a little bit about it, about the website. He's just got it launched. What services do you offer right now?
TNT Motorsports.ca. It's up and live now. Like I was talking earlier, we kind of just dabbled into doing some engine building. Obviously we didn't start from scratch, but we had a Sunset that we had ripped apart. Customer of ours came to us, said they were looking for some more power. We were going to rebuild it as a spare engine because we had upgraded our setup. So we got into rebuilding engines and we still had to set them all up, but it's not like we were starting from scratch, so to speak. And then suspension setup, complete wiring, complete plumbing. We're a Frigola hose dealer. So we've got the crimper and everything like that. So we can do all the plumbing and stuff. And then good friend of ours, Mike Popel, he's got quite a bit of experience helping out some pro mod guys that are out here on the West Coast. And so he comes to our shop quite often. He's a really good fabricator, welder, and kind of just does everything. So he comes out and between him and my dad, they can usually figure anything out. And so we do a lot of troubleshooting and like at track consulting type stuff. So cool. Yeah, basically we'll go front to back on anybody's cars. Most of what we do is obviously like dragsters or drag cars specific, but we've done some hoses and stuff like that for some street car guys and whatnot. So yeah, we kind of do a little bit of everything, but basically aim towards like, the wiring, suspension, fab, and stuff like that on dragsters and drag cars. So
all the daunting tasks that nobody wants to dive into themselves, right? That they just let you go at. So what's the best way for somebody, mainly on the West Coast, to be able to get in contact with you, to do this? Is it best to go on the website, message you on Facebook, anything like that, send you an email? What's the best way to get a hold of you for that stuff?
Yeah, either or. On Facebook, we're at TNT Motorsports CA. So no dots or anything like that. But you can find us on there. Or Travis at TNTmotorsports.ca. That's basically what the website will link you up to if you need any info. Yeah, either or works, and it's pretty easy to get a hold of a guy these days. So.
Absolutely, it is. No, for sure. And we'll post the link for the website. Will be in the description for the video and everything like that. So anybody that wants to check you out, just got to scroll down, click on it, and there you go. So now we'll head over to back to the racing more a little bit. This year you put on the Western Canadian Summer Classic for the first time. You promoted your own race. You had two 7,500 twin races, a Friday night gamblers race, and a shootout race Saturday night. So how'd that go? Right, that's a pretty big venture to take on, right? And then to do it that large for your first time. How was it?
It was exhausting, but it was probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Sharing success on an individual basis or with my dad and stuff like that, racing, that was good. But to be able to bring, happiness to that many guys, like, because, guys and girls that came up after and they're like, man, this is the coolest thing I've ever been to, because nobody had ever really ventured into doing a shootout on Saturday night and putting something up for 20 grand on top of, 7 rounds of competition and a buyback and, all that stuff Saturday. And then that was just the tip of the iceberg and stuff like that. So it was kind of a format that we really only see south of the border, right? Mm-hmm. Where guys are racing hard for big money. And I think a lot of what we've gotten used to in Alberta anyway is, just like, okay, it's a regular series, kind of similar to the Bracket Super Tour and to our Top Eliminator series, where it's like, okay, it's $5,000 Saturday, $5,000 Sunday, no buybacks, and it's pretty, predictable. How the weekend's going to go. So no, it was really cool. And it was worth it for us. We didn't have any big train wrecks, thank God. And we had spent the time, like, we threw it together in a short period of time because there was an opportunity. Most of our regular series got canceled last year. So we were like, I was actually going to start the race promoting this year, and I saw this as an opportunity. And I thought, okay, let's throw this together. And so it was exhausting, like I said, but it was still worth it. And it was good to kind of build, something that people are going to look forward to for years to come.
Absolutely. No, it was cool. I remember hearing about it from the first time, from a mutual friend, I guess, and your neighbor James Rutherford there, hearing about it. And like, this wasn't just the shootout race. I feel is a little undershadowed, right? Because you're not just tying a shootout race that you pay $100, $150 to get in, and it's a little bit to win. Like, this is a heavy duty one. It's like $750 to enter, and you're paying 20 grand to win this shootout race Saturday night. Like, that's that's a highlight, man. That's cool. So I love the layout of it. It sounds awesome. I said to you before, you just find me a car, find me a dragster, something. We'll fly out. We'll make it happen. I'll join you in over for all the fun. So I guess we, tied with last year. Flip. Let's tie with this year coming up. The second annual, Western Canadian Summer Classic is coming up again this year. You've made a couple different changes. Added a day of racing, so you race Friday, Saturday, Sunday now, but overall the same, similar layout, right? You're gonna do the shootout again Saturday night, one race a day, and then I would think, right, is there gonna be another gamblers on Friday night?
No, so Friday we've turned it into a warm up. So we'll start racing in the morning on Friday, get guys a couple hits. And then that's going to be 5K. And then, the only other real changes we're making, like not a lot to the format, we're bumping payouts up. So what were 7,500s last year are going to be 10 grands this year.
Nice.
Shootout's going to stay the same. Brought some people onto the team. Keith Peterson's a guy out here that his family's been racing for a long time. His dad's actually from Vancouver Island. And he's got some good experience running staging lanes at big events. So we're bringing him onto the team so I can kind of quarterback things from the tower. And then we're going to run Real Red, which is Porter Tree's True Start. So kind of level the playing field out for the slower guys, which I think is important. So
it's huge advantage, right? We had that at our home track in Shannonville. We started using that a few years ago now, but like I say, huge thing. It's the most fair way to run a race. I love it. So it'll be a great addition to your event, no doubt. And, as you said, staging lanes, right? Having somebody keep it organized on top of it, so there's no congestion at the front or at the back anywhere, also something that gets overshadowed, the importance of, keeping those lanes moving.
Yeah.
Well, so, as we talked about, for the promoting races, you were going to wait, hold off. So what got you into promoting? What made you want to go from just sitting in the race car, hey, I want to run this race,
Being a service is a huge part of it. That's kind of something I think as people get older in life, I can only speak for myself, but as you get older, you want to be of service to the community. And racing's done everything for me, right? Like it's been my family for the past 15 to 20 years. And so I wanted to give something back. And I wanted to give something back that I would want to race in myself. We started, we cut our teeth really like airport tracks, kind of very grassroots start for us. And then did the NHRA stuff, but then found big money racing, and big money racing it's what my passion is. It's what my family's passion is. And I wanted to, everybody, we talked about this before the show, every race you've been to, you'll always find things that you would do different or that you would change. And I spent a lot of my younger years just being the guy that would talk about what he would change, but never would change anything, So I'm sure I annoyed a lot of people by being like, well, why aren't you doing it this way? Right. And so finally I was a little bit like, well, I think we need to change a pace here. Rather than doing the same thing every weekend with the top eliminator. Cassius came, great series, great people. But, things just after 10 plus years, they, you need a little change. So I thought, well, I want to bring this, 4 events in 3 days, like big, late nights, early mornings type event, which it's hard, it's draining. I want to bring that type of event to Western Canada, right? And just see if the people like it, right? And so they did. So that's kind of what got us into it. I liked that I could put something on that I would be a part of and actually be, somewhat open-minded about it, but you can't be a feather in the wind. Like you got to take suggestions, but you got to go with your gut too. Right. Yeah. So that's kind of what got us into that.
That's cool. I love it. Exactly like you say, everybody will talk about it and everybody does. Every drag racer's got a complaint or an issue of some sort in the back of their mind, whether they admit it or not. But, great to step up, and not very many people do, to bring change into it. It freshens up the whole environment of the drag racing scene, right? And that's kind of, this goes with the whole, this is why we made Bracket Life, is to celebrate that, right? To celebrate bracket racing everywhere, right? To celebrate you guys trying new stuff, opening up a new series and event and everything that you do. So, that's awesome. I love it. I love the idea of promoting. I know everybody, I think, is aware. I would love the opportunity to one day be a promoter myself as well. So pretty cool to learn, from all the people that have done it and gained some experience. So, other than your own events, you mentioned a couple other series going on or that, is already around there. Any other big plans for 2021 coming up?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, driving long distances would typically be something we would do in the spring, but with everything that's going on right now, those plans have kind of been squashed, which would be like the Spring Fling and Chris Forsyth's race down in Phoenix there or Tucson. And so without that, I think we're going to run. There's a local series, 8 Mile Series in Edmonton, which is Cash is King. And that's like a 2,500 to win Saturday, Sunday deal. I think they've got a big money race, like, no points, buybacks type deal set up. So I'll be parking my truck there for that one, because my truck's only run 640 at the fastest, and that top eliminator series, they've got a bump, so you got to be 890 or quicker in the quarter. Okay. So we'll probably race Dad's dragster at that for a few events, and yeah, there's really nothing set in stone. I think that there's going to be a few more of these one-time big money races this year, rather than like focusing on the point series. And I could kind of see myself aiming at those a little bit more, just going for an opportunity to, maybe win 5+ and a buyback and double enter, stuff like that. Really save our energy for that type of stuff. But I'm sure I'll be at a racetrack somewhere from the moment the snow melts to the moment that it starts snowing again.
That's right. And I can only imagine you guys got a little bit more snow than we have here. Right? quite the shot of it. What do you guys do? Or like in Western Canada, is it more 8th mile stuff or more quarter mile, or is it a good mix of it?
8th mile is starting to take over, which I think that it rightfully should, for big money racing. But yeah, there's still a lot of, I'll say, nostalgic guys that they want to run quarter all the time. So we're predominantly quarter out here, but it is really starting to change. And especially in the last 2 years, we're starting to see a lot more 8th mile racing. Yeah, it's kind of similar here. Like, we're more to the 8th mile stuff already. A lot of places are, we're just too fast for it, right? Like Luskville and Shannonville, we would just be too quick to run the full quarter. They're now like Toronto, Grand Bend, they all still do run quarters. So there is still a mix, but very similar. Everyone's pretty much going to 8th mile and staying there, and then, there's no point in running quarter mile here all summer. And then you go to the States somewhere and then everything's 8th mile for big money stuff. And then you don't have a clue what's going on when you get to the finish line. Yeah. Yeah. You're to the wood. I think that the cream rises to the top 8th mile. I think myself. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Especially in those shootout races, like what we talked, like when you have the big money stuff, when you're dropping, $500, $750, $1,000 on an entry fee, and you're rolling around, you got one hit, and that's do or die. Like that brings the best guys are going to get through that because they're going to get it done. And, time after time again, they've all shown it, right? It's easy to pick them out, when you look at it over across the span of time. All right, Bob, well, I think that pretty much hits most of it, that we had wrote down and notes for everything today. But, this is awesome. I'm glad that we got to do this. I'm glad we had to kind of start bridging the gap in Canadian drag racing, bring Western Canada, Eastern Canada all together, to celebrate all of it at once, right? Because we're all doing the same thing here, right? We're all in the same team, we're all up north of the border. We can all only stay here. So this is awesome. I'm glad, I'm meeting a whole bunch of new people, new friends, with all this, the exact same passion that I have. So this is really cool. I'm glad we got to sit down and do this. And I appreciate your time, to do this with us and share everything on Bracket Life. I appreciate it, Brandon. Yeah, it's really a good thing, I think, especially now, and we don't know how long this is going to last, to bridge this gap from east to west. I mean, the thing I'm waiting for is somebody to put on like $1 million Canadian race. Yeah. I know we'll drive 36 hours to Vegas to do it, so why wouldn't we drive 36 hours to Ontario to do it? That's right. Absolutely. No, I get it for sure, bud. But no, that's awesome, buddy. We'll keep talking here in the future and keep up to date on each other. And then, maybe if one of us is lucky, then we'll be able to race together soon. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, bud. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Like I said, have a good one, and we'll talk soon. Take care.